Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to our first episode of Jukebox Junkies, a podcast where we tackle music industry topics, trends, and pop culture moments. My name is Dylan George, and I will be co-hosting alongside my fellow Full Sail University senior classmate, Chelsey Freeman. On today's premiere episode, we will be discussing one of my personal favorite things to talk about, the Grammy Awards. So let's get into it. How are you doing, Chelsey?
I'm great. How are you?
I am so freaking excited. I love talking about the Grammys. It's like my favorite thing, period, to talk about.
Your favorite thing, period, ever?
Uh, kind of. I mean, I like The Walking Dead, so I talk about that a lot too.
Heard.
But like, like the Grammys, they just intrigue me every year because there's so much up in the air, and you never really know what the people in the Academy are thinking. And it's like trying to predict what all of these quote unquote professionals are thinking.
Right. And a lot of times they don't think the same way that we do.
Exactly. But so I say, let's start talking about two of the biggest categories, record and song of the year.
Okay.
Do you know what the difference between record and song of the year is?
I mean, not really.
Okay, so record of the year is based on overall production quality. Like all the aspects that go into the song are included in record of the year. So like the songwriters, the engineers, the performer, the mixer, the producer, like they are all nominated when it's for the song for
Okay.
record. But then song of the year is solely for the songwriters. So anyone that helped write the song and the melody,
Okay.
then they're included in song of the year. So that's the difference. And a lot of times people get those confused, but there's also a lot of overlap. A lot of the times the same song wins both awards, and a lot of the same songs are nominated in both of them. So let's start talking about record of the year. I think, even though we're here talking about the overall prediction or the overall nominees, I think The Weeknd is going to take this one home 100%.
Do you really?
I personally don't think Blinding Lights was the best song of the year, but I think overall, culturally wise, it just makes sense.
I disagree, man. I have been so disappointed in Abel. I love
Really?
him. Yes, I consider myself part of the EXO gang. You know what I'm saying? Like we are here for it all. And I don't know. Even the album was very kind of underwhelming to me.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
just wasn't impressed.
yeah. The whole album as a whole, and when we talk about album of the year in a little bit, we can touch on this more, but we can touch on a little bit on it right now. I do not think he will win album of the year. I just think he had a couple good songs on the album, and the rest of it was just kind of
Yeah, but
there.
they led Blinding Lights as the single, but Heartless really should have been the lead single in my opinion. It was the superior song.
Yeah, it was weird, kind of what the label. He's on Republic, I think. Um, it's weird what Republic did because they released Heartless, and then literally like I think it was literally like 2, 3, 4 days later they released Blinding Lights, and I don't think they intended for Blinding Lights to be a big,
Oh yeah,
like
like
this
its
big of a hit.
streaming numbers just picked up or something and they rolled with the
Hmm.
momentum. And I understand that. I get that completely. Like I see where, we're just going to capitalize on the momentum that this song has and it will just reverse our marketing technique and this will be the lead single and
Hmm.
but in my opinion, Heartless was a far superior song.
See, I never really liked Heartless that much, and I find myself being really critical of The Weeknd because I know he is capable of incredible music.
Right.
Like
And incredible performances. He's a genius.
exactly.
Like
So like part of me wishes that he came out with something. Do you know the song False Alarm from his
yeah.
Starboy album? That is one of my all-time favorite songs. And to this day, it makes me angry when I think of the fact that it wasn't released as a single. But
False Alarm really should have been
it,
released
it,
as a single.
it
I agree. It was
yeah,
it was very catchy. It was didn't that album come out in like summertime?
yeah,
I feel like that was a summertime album. That would have been great. It would
yeah,
have been
I
the
don't.
song of the summer.
Blinding Lights just is not on the same level as a song like False Alarm or even like Can't Feel My Face. But I still think because Blinding Lights has been in the top 5 of the Billboard Hot 100 for almost a solid year, just because of its longevity and how uh, people just genuinely seem to enjoy it, I think it might take home the award for that reason.
Well, that's true too. Just just looking at your prediction list, we've got Dua Lipa's "Don't Start Now." You've got Post Malone's "Circles" on there.
Like for me, in a perfect world, I think "Adore You" by Harry Styles or "Circles" by Post Malone would take this award
For
personally.
sure.
Or I would not be mad at Dua Lipa or DaBaby with Rockstar taking it home either.
Right.
Like,
Rockstar's like it's a great little
mhm.
song. It's a
I think
bop,
I
right?
think Rockstar is one of those songs that I don't really think I've ever heard anyone say they hate it or they can't stand it. I think it's a very well liked song overall by everybody.
For sure.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it's a bop, right?
Hmm.
Isn't that's what they say?
Yeah. Certified Bop. Let me tell you, it came on. I was at a dance club like 2 weeks ago, and it came on. And it's not the kind of song I would expect to really get the party started, but it got everybody out on the dance floor, and we had a lot of fun. So okay, so before we move on to like Song of the Year and some of the other ones, if you had to pick maybe your top two, and it doesn't have to be from the list that I put together. If your top two songs that you would like to see win Record of the Year this year, what would they be?
Top two songs for record of the year. Okay, well, I mean, I don't know. This is a tough question.
It
Definitely,
really
I,
is.
I really like it's the year of Dua, so anything Dua, like I definitely support the Don't Start Now.
Yeah,
Like I'm here for that winning. Um,
I would not be mad at that at all.
but also like we all know that Taylor is going to be competition. So, isn't it like the one? That's the
I
album. That's the
uh,
album.
the album's Folklore.
Yeah, there we go. So
Um,
there is a song called The
yeah,
One.
yeah. The
Yeah,
one is the first song on the track list.
that's my
Yeah,
favorite song off the album.
yeah. It's a good one. It was one that I wasn't a huge fan. Like, it wasn't one of my personal favorites right off the album initially. But the more I listened to it, because anybody that knows me, and we were talking about this before we got onto this podcast, is that I am a diehard Taylor Swift fan. And so I've listened to Folklore 100 times, probably more. And the one slowly became one of my favorites.
Yeah, see, that's what that was one right off the bat that I was like, "Ooh, hey, ad." And
Yeah. And
it's the one that I don't skip over, like
mhm,
honestly.
yeah. So also shout out to Fiona Apple and Megan the Stallion, who I both included on my Record of the Year predictions list, but I don't really see either of them winning.
Um, I Megan the Stallion can win the hip hop. I feel like she has a good chance to take home the hip hop awards this year.
Agreed. I hope she leaves it with something because she has done such a great job this whole year.
I don't feel like WAP is going to get any Grammy
Yeah.
nominations.
So, like when I put together my whole predictions list, I was really torn when it came to WAP because initially I was like, it's Cardi B, like she's going to get a Record of the Year nomination. It's a number one hit from Cardi. Like she's at this point, I would consider her kind of a Grammy favorite. Like she's won before, but I was like, I don't know if the Academy, which is made up of probably older people, would really consider that quality enough to recognize it.
Even people my age are like, hey, why? I mean, especially my husband, because I have this thing like, the lyrics need to be good to a song. They need to usually WAP is not something that I would put on and be like,
Right.
hey. And so I can see where people are coming from that, but also these women are breaking down barriers. Like they are doing things that women don't do, you
Yeah.
know, and they're changing the landscape of what women are capable of. And Like, this is a little off topic, but Mulatto, for instance, she's
Hmm.
featured in that video. And,
Yeah.
she's changing the way that trap music works. She is bringing female trap music to, a number one position, to the spotlight where people are listening. And
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
just think it's really dope.
she's an artist that I've been hearing a lot about, and I've heard. Um, oh, she had a song debut in the Hot 100 a few weeks ago that I can't remember what it was now. Was it something from the South? Was
Oh,
that
yeah,
her?
Queen of the South.
Yeah. So like I've heard that song and I was really intrigued. So I need to dive into her more. I think she's gonna have a big breakout year next year.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah. Especially if she gets a cosign by Megan or Cardi or Nicki, like one of those other big female artists.
Okay, and so what about this BTS? Do we feel like they are going to take home a win?
I'm so torn when it comes to both BTS and Blackpink because so I have a friend, shout out Emma. She is a huge diehard BTS fan. And so she's educated me a lot in K-pop because it's not my preferred genre. I'm not a huge fan of it. And I always see K-pop as way too manufactured. Like, so obviously we're both music business students. So when I uh, see like an artist rolling out something or kind of see how they're doing, I can see how much of it is organic and how much of it is manufactured by like a label.
Oh, no doubt.
And I just feel like BTS and Blackpink both are so manufactured that I have a hard time. And all the BTS people are gonna come at me right now, and it's gonna ruin my career before it even
Don't
starts.
do that, you guys. Don't
But
do that. We're all entitled to our opinions.
I I just feel like they just I'm sure they're hardworking, but I just don't feel like it's organic enough to warrant Grammy recognition. And I don't know.
I think that's a very good topic to touch on because the K-pop genre gets a lot of attention.
Hmm. That for
And
sure.
right now, the Latin genre is getting a lot of attention too.
Yeah,
So, do we feel like, because they have their own like little categories, don't they? Like Latin Record of the Year, et cetera, et cetera.
yeah. They have there's a Latin, yeah, there are some Latin categories, but there's also they have their own. The Latin Grammys aired
Right.
a few weeks ago, I think, or
I
maybe like
thought they had a
a month
Latin
ago.
Grammys. I didn't
Yeah,
want to be wrong.
no, they definitely do. I could be wrong, but I think they have several different iterations of the Grammys for different countries and different cultures.
Okay, so like the K-pop, the BTS, they can win the Asian
Yeah,
award?
I don't know if the Asian like I don't know if there's Grammys for that, but I I'm not sure. I'd have to do more research. I think there are, but
Okay,
I'm
but
not
so kind
sure.
of like bringing it back to my original point, like,
Yes.
so do we feel like that it's fair that there is like a Latin category in the US Grammys
Well, so like
and there's
song
not for K-pop? You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. Yeah, that was one thing I had actually thought about before. That it's weird that like I think there's like I think one of the categories like a regional Mexican song, and then I think there's Latin categories, and there's like I think maybe even a Spanish category. Um, but I don't know why there's not a K-pop category, but especially because it's so relevant to
I mean,
regular pop music now.
today, like it is, it's very, they kind of go hand in hand. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even listen to K-pop, and I've heard some of BTS and Blackpink stuff just because they collaborate with artists that I do listen to.
Mm-hmm. Halsey, Lauv, whoever.
Nicki Minaj, right? Isn't Blackpink with Nicki Minaj?
Did they do a song with Nicki Minaj? No, they did a song with Lady Gaga. They did a song with Selena Gomez. They sung with Dua Lipa.
Okay, yeah. Well, I listen to all three of those people, so.
Right. Yeah. But so and then the question is, it has a song like Dynamite by BTS, which was a I believe 3 week #1 hit on the Billboard Hot 100. It's in the top 10 right now on pop radio in the United States. Does that warrant a Record of the Year nomination? I
It's not
just
as it doesn't perform as well as some of the others that we
yeah.
have kind of predicted to be nominated.
And it's horrible. Even if I do like the song Dynamite, like I think I'm coming across as I'm almost like anti K-pop. I do like the song Dynamite, quite a bit, and I just don't know.
Well, it's like you said, it's very manufactured. It's hard to take serious. Like we know these people didn't make their music probably. We know they probably didn't write their music.
From what I remember, my friend telling me, a lot of my BTS knowledge comes from my friend Emma. I'm pretty sure this new album they have coming out in like I think like next week or something. They actually were able to have a hand in a lot more of the songwriting and production and stuff. But I'm not sure. Anyway, so one other thing, moving on from K-pop, that I wanted to touch on is songs like Lil Baby's "The Bigger Picture" and hers "I Can't Breathe." The Grammys have had, not just the Grammys, the Oscars, a lot of these really big award shows. They've had a lot of criticism for being so white. Like they've had a lot of criticism for not recognizing people of color or people of different ethnicities or uh, what have you, different backgrounds. It's very almost like whitewashed a lot of the time.
Right. Let's not forget the Nicki Minaj freak out over the VMAs circa like what, 2015,
Y-
2016?
Yeah, you're talking about Anaconda.
Yeah, what's good, Miley?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Was that the year Wrecking Ball beat it?
Yeah, she didn't even get
Yeah,
nominated. That was her
that's
problem.
right.
Anaconda didn't get nominated for Video of the Year.
Although to be fair, I don't. I'm not a huge. I don't. I have a lot of problems with Nicki Minaj as a
Well, she's
artist.
very problematic. I
Yeah,
understand. Like,
when she's looked over for an award, I'm not necessarily upset about it because I feel like she has kind of put herself in a very unlikable position in the industry.
I agree, and I love Nicki Minaj. So like but I agree. She's definitely kind of backed herself into this corner where you almost have to play a bad guy persona all the time. And how does that work for you?
Yeah. With the bigger picture and I Can't Breathe, I'm very curious to see where and how they are handled because Lil Baby is one of those artists that is not the most well liked artist by critics. This is a lot of people say the bigger picture is his only good song because it is a fantastic song.
I don't disagree.
hmm And so
Um,
I'm very curious to see if the industry's like, even though people don't really like this artist, he did a good song and it's very culturally important. Like, I feel like the bigger picture, even more so than I Can't Breathe, um,
right.
really,
For sure. The bigger picture impacted a lot of people. Like people listen to Lil Baby. Like whether the critics like him or not, he is
yeah,
a consumer favorite. Like, I mean,
exactly.
even in my own household, like my husband loves Lil Baby, and for a long time, I thought DaBaby and Lil Baby were like the same person, but
Yeah.
apparently they're not.
Ugh. Like
But
last year when they had the song, it was Lil Baby and DaBaby, and their song was called Baby.
right, like
Like,
what is that? Come on,
too,
you guys.
a little too much. But
um, But so I've listened to a lot of Lil Baby's stuff, and like, I mean, it's catchy, whatever. You can just kind of put it on and like passively listen. You don't have to
yeah.
actively listen to anything. But the bigger picture really does like make you stop and think about things, and like it really does, like you say, touch on a lot of points culturally. So do we feel like this is a song that they are going to nominate, or do we feel like this is a song that they bring on for a performance?
And I think if they don't nominate it, I think there'll be a lot of backlash.
So we feel like it's going to get a nomination in hip hop categories, or do you think it could be one of those surprises in record of the year?
I don't know if it'll go on record of the year because I don't think the overall production is what is really supposed to stand out. But I think
Right.
song of the year is where it'll land because its lyrics are so. I mean, it touches on the Black Lives Matter movement, and it touches on everything that seems to happen this year, the pandemic, and it's like a not really a summary of 2020, but it's like one of those songs that you'll go be able to go back to in 5 years, and you'll be like, This is what we were going through. More specifically, what the people in the Black community were going through, and um, probably, I'm sure in 5 years we'll still be feeling the ramifications, and it still won't be to where we need to be as a society. And I feel like the bigger picture is a song that you'll be able to turn on and reflect, and it's really important in that way.
Definitely.
I'm thinking it'll probably get nominated for Song of the Year, but like when you have like, so the two songs that I mentioned were this one and I Can't Breathe by Her. Her has been nominated in the general field at the Grammys the last 2 years in a lot of the big categories. And so she is an obvious Grammy favorite. So if they wanted to only nominate one, I could also see them nominating her instead of Lil Baby.
Even though Lil Baby's song had more of an impact.
Yeah. So I think Lil Baby is probably going to win something in the rap category anyway. So they could kind of overlook him here. Or they could nominate both of them. I guess there's no rule saying they have to only pick one.
Right, but in a sense, there's so much music that comes out in a year that
Well, I guess we shall see. Let's talk about Harry Styles for just a few minutes.
hooray.
So, One Direction never, in the whole time they were together as a group, were never nominated at the Grammys. And
So sucky.
and then Harry, even though like critics really loved his first album that came out a couple years ago, wasn't nominated for anything. And none of the other members from One Direction for their solo stuff have been nominated, except for Zayn earned one nomination in Best Song Written for Visual Media for his Taylor Swift collaboration, I Don't Live Forever.
So let's be honest, Taylor Swift got nominated.
Yeah, pretty much. That would not have been nominated without Taylor Swift. Thank you, Taylor.
Also, it's really unfair to One Direction because I feel like those dudes have always just busted their tails. Like, I love One Direction. I supported them together. I'll
Hmm.
support them apart.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do feel like Harry's the fan favorite, if that
Hmm.
matters at all.
I think overall, and this obviously, I'm sure people will agree with me, but I think he is the overall best artist out of One Direction. Like, I feel like he has I think he has the best artistic vision. I guess is how I should say that.
I mean, if we're
Um,
sticking with their X Factor origins, he does have kind of the X Factor,
yeah,
but I just I don't know what's the blonde-headed one?
Nile.
Yeah. I'm with him lately. Like his album is awesome, his latest album. But I will admit this Harry Styles Fine Line, it is a great album. It's very happy.
Hmm.
It has this overall happy feel, but it's also very relevant. It's very kind of like we see pop moving towards that kind of alternative pop sound
Yeah,
almost, and it's very with that.
yeah. I wrote something for. I think it was one of the discussion boards that we had to do for one of the classes we had within the past couple months, and I was talking about how Harry Styles and Post Malone and Billie Eilish and Halsey, and I guess now Taylor Swift could be kind of part of that conversation with her newer music, are kind of bringing more of a rock sound and more organic sound back to pop music. And I think a lot of that started with Harry Styles releasing Fine Line uh, about a year ago.
Right. I mean, I remember listening through the album the first time and was like, man, this is really good. I was honestly kind of surprised,
Hmm.
because well, like I said, while Harry's the fan favorite, he's just not necessarily my favorite.
Right.
But you do have to admit, like, the dude has talent. Like, he writes and he plays instruments, I'm pretty sure. And I don't know, he makes headlines and then just rolls with it.
And even if not from a musical standpoint, he's such a big advocate for the LGBT community, and
Right.
uh, even as like right now he's trending on social media for, I believe he's on the cover of Vogue and he's wearing a dress.
Yep.
And I think also he was the first man to be on the cover of Vogue ever, by himself.
Wow.
And and I might have that wrong, so you'd have to fact check me. But because he's all about, for years, especially after he broke away from One Direction, he's been all about uh breaking down gender roles and breaking down gender stereotypes. and being whoever he wants to be and redefining masculinity.
Right.
So I think, and even like the In Fine Line, like the album cover is not a super masculine, hyper masculine album cover that you would expect from like a someone like Harry Styles. Like
But
so,
it's
this in the
very
position.
perfect though. It
Yeah,
fits the album so well. Like I
exactly.
love the album art so much.
Mhm.
Like I do. I really support
Yeah, the whole aesthetic is incredible.
it.
I think because of his place in pop culture right now when it comes to those conversations that he's creating online and he's making people think about when it comes to gender roles, masculinity, and the LGBT community. I think giving finally recognizing him on the big Grammy stage would be really good uh, to recognize everything that he's done, not just his music per se.
Very true. I agree with that. And I mean, his album holds weight. Like, I feel like he should at least be nominated in one category.
Yeah, and like I have him on my predictions list. I have him in record of the year, song of the year, and album of the year. And I don't know if he can actually pull off all three of those. I think I think if he does pull off any of them, it'll definitely be record of the year. I could see them maybe um, not nominating him for album of the year and giving it to someone maybe a little under the radar, like a Brittany Howard or a Chloe and Halle or someone like that who isn't as mainstream. But
Right.
I like to think that he would get in because I like it a lot. Oh, let's see. What else haven't we touched on yet? Uh, we could touch on a best new artist for a little bit
Best
because
new
that's
artist.
always best new artist is always a heated debate. Not a heated debate, but it's there's always so much mystery around it because sometimes I feel like the Academy itself doesn't know its own rules for the category.
Right, because I feel like Cardi was in for Best New Artist like the year after Invasion of Privacy blew
Uh,
up.
Cardi B was actually never nominated for best new artist.
Just kidding.
Yeah, there was a year, I think it was 2018. Everyone was like, it's gonna be the year of Cardi B versus Post Malone versus Camila Cabello because they all kind of blew up at the same
Together.
time.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
and then they came out and they're like, actually, we're not gonna nominate any of them. They're like Camila Cabello because of everything with Fifth Harmony, she's not eligible.
Oh,
Then they're
that's
like,
bullshit. Sorry.
yeah, yeah, no, I agree. And then they were like Cardi. I don't remember their reason for not nominating Cardi. And then there was a reason for Post Malone that he didn't blow up till his second album, so they couldn't nominate him then. But then
Okay,
like
but didn't Lizzo get a nomination for Best New Artist?
exactly, Lizzo was nominated last year, and she's been around even though she wasn't A-list mainstream until last year. She was
Right.
nominated, and she's been around for a while.
She's had several albums out, so
And even like I think the same year they said Cardi, Post, and Camila couldn't be nominated, BB Rexa was nominated, and she's been around for like most of the last
I mean,
decade.
I'm right. I didn't want to say ever and make us sound old girlfriend, but you've been
Yeah,
around forever.
I, I mean I remember hearing. I think the first song I heard BB Rexa on was that G-Eazy song "Me Myself and I," which I think was from like
Yeah.
2013. So she's been around for a
Wasn't
hot
the Florida
minute.
Georgia Line song out before that one, or were they about the same time?
No, the Meant to Be was 2018, so that's a newer one.
Um,
That's when she finally had her first big hit at like what with her own music.
right, because she did write for a long time.
Yeah, she wrote.
Alexia,
Yeah, she's a big writer. She wrote "The Monster" by Eminem.
for sure. She performed her version live at
Hmm.
Hangout last year, and it was awesome.
Yeah, so like this year for Best New Artist, a lot of people would be like, "Oh, Roddy Ricch would be an automatic like
Roddy
winner."
Ricch is the box guy, right?
Yeah. Yep. He did the box, and then he's on.
I listened to that album though, and it just didn't make an impression on me. Not the way that, like, I don't know. I mean, I don't love the box, but like it's a cute song that
Mhm. Yeah.
so, like I walk around doing that all the time.
That's hilarious. I won't lie. If that song comes on, I'm always doing those sound effects. You kind of have to.
Right, it goes
But
with the song.
yeah, so like he would be an automatic choice for a front runner for best new artist, but he technically won a Grammy last year as a featured artist on a Nipsey Hussle song in the rap category. So he's not
Oh.
even eligible, which is crazy to me because if you're gonna let someone like BB Rexa or Lizzo be nominated, you should let Roddy Ricch be nominated.
Right, for sure. Who's the FML and Roxanne? Arizona.
Arizona's Zervis.
Yes. Now see him. What about him?
See, he was in the discussion a lot towards the beginning, like a few months ago when Roxanne was really popular. But then he never really had a follow up to it, and he's just kind of disappeared. So he didn't keep the momentum up enough, I don't think, to stay in the discussion.
To keep the
Yeah, same with
nomination.
yeah, same with Tones and I, who did Dance Monkey.
I love Dance Monkey.
Really, I don't.
Yes.
I can't stand it. I tried so hard.
Uh,
Yeah, so like someone like Tones and I and Arizona Service, they could get in. They could be like I would if I was like making like an honorable mentions list or like maybe like on the verge, they'd both be on it. I just don't know if I see either of them getting in, unfortunately.
sad, sad day.
Yeah, so in my predictions, I have this artist, Mickey Guyton. I don't know if you've ever heard of her.
I have not.
She is a country artist, more of an underground country artist who I've seen in a lot of critical circles. People really, really like her. I haven't dived into her music much at all, but it's good. Like from what I've heard, she's good. But I have Gabby Barrett, Mickey Guyton, and
I
Morgan
love
Wallen.
Gabby Barrett and
Yeah,
Morgan Wallen. Look, the non-country lady names out two country people.
yeah. Since they're all considered country artists, I don't know if they can all three get in.
I definitely see Gabby making that best new artist slot just because of her success with I Hope
Oh
and
yeah,
Goldmine. Like she's really moving on that momentum she had from American Idol, and it's great. I see you, girl.
yeah. It blows my mind how popular I Hope is right now. Like it is number 3.
And hasn't that song? It's been out for like a year, at least over a
Yeah,
year.
I remember hearing about I Hope like literally like a year ago, like something like that.
It feels like it's been out a long time, and there's like
Yeah,
a remix and a featured, and
yeah. I'm pretty sure I saw when it broke into the top 5 on the Hot 100 like 2 weeks ago that it broke the record for the longest climb to the top 5 ever of any song.
cool.
Yeah, which I guess it just shows its longevity and uh, how well liked it is, even though it is a pop country song, which isn't normally something that is very popular. You know what I mean?
Right, for sure.
It's definitely the most popular country song since probably Taylor Swift was doing country.
Oh, dude, like Gabby is look, man, she's something else. She's a force to be reckoned with. And she married Cade Foner. I don't know if you watched that season of American Idol that she was on or not, but Cade was also a contestant. He's very rock and roll.
Is he?
Yeah, and I hope they make some music together because that would be great.
No pun intended with I Hope.
Right, for sure. Not at all, honestly. But
um, so before we dive in, there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about with Doja Cat. So before we dive into her, I want to touch on Pop Smoke real quick. Do you um, do you know much about Pop Smoke?
no, I have no idea who Pop Smoke is.
Okay, so Pop Smoke is a rapper who was murdered in February, and his death kind of put him on. Unfortunately, it's a really tragic story. Obviously, he was working on music. He had just gotten signed, I believe, and then he was murdered. But then that is what gave him the momentum, and he shot up the charts. And so, like right now, he has a song in the top 10 on the Billboard Hot 100. He has a couple other songs within the top 40. He has a song on pop radio. He's number 1 right now on rap radio. And so, if he is nominated, and like his album, "Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon," I think is what it's called. I might have that backwards. Has been in the top 5 of the Billboard 200 since it was released. So if he is nominated, he will be the first artist who has passed away to be nominated in this category.
Do you feel that he is someone that deserves to be nominated in this category? Like, do you like the album? Is it good?
I do. It took me a while because he has more of it's kind of a harder artist. Like his rap style is a little more hardcore rap than I personally like. So it took me a hot minute to get into it.
Where's he from? Is it East Coast rap, West Coast rap?
Yeah, I believe he's from California.
Okay.
I could have that wrong. I believe so. If you haven't heard of him, I highly recommend the song "The Woo" and the song "What You Know About Love." Both fantastic.
Okay.
But the thing with Pop Smoke getting nominated here is, say he was to win. Normally, the Best New Artist is supposed to like predict who is going to be a big deal in the coming years.
Right.
But this would be obviously he isn't going to be making any more music, unfortunately. So it'd be like I don't even know how to word it without almost sounding rude. Like you could have done it, kind of thing. You know
Right,
what I mean?
like a post. I don't know. I was gonna say postmortem,
Yeah.
like award or
We both know what we want to say. We just can't figure out the words.
uh, but I mean, so okay. I also saw that Juice World was listed, and it is very amazing to me. Like so much of Juice World's like music has been released after his passing, and
I know.
how does the rest of the world feel about that? Like, because I like listen to it sometimes, and I'm like, dang man, I'm so sorry,
Yeah. Oh, I know. So a lot of times I'm not a huge fan of posthumous releases because I feel like how can you release an album if you're passed away? Like it just seems almost like a cash grab by the record label as opposed to an artist's artistic vision.
Right.
But as far as I know, from what I've heard, is that Juice World's album Legends Never Die was basically completed, and so they
I
went
mean,
ahead
I
and released
figured
it.
that they just,
Yeah,
it was already pretty much done, and here you go, we're gonna give it to the
yeah.
world.
And then it like his album. I've never been a huge Juice World fan, but that album became one of my favorites of the year because of songs like "Righteous" and "Wishing Well," where it's almost like he's singing from the grave. It was really sad.
Right. It's really hard to listen to some of those songs.
It really is. I remember the
Um,
first time I heard "Righteous," I cried.
for sure. I
But
just so if we're gonna talk about somebody that's passed on that might be getting an award, I would definitely nominate Juice World.
yeah, I would love. I don't think like I didn't list him in any of the general field categories, but I would love for him to maybe snag a album of the year nomination. Maybe they could do Juice World instead of Roddy Rich.
Right?
Because I think Roddy Rich is going to get a lot of nominations elsewhere, so maybe they could put Juice World in there. That'd be great.
Right.
Because he's never been nominated, like with how big he's been, like how big Lucid Dreams was. He's never been nominated for a Grammy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But neither has Florence Welch, so
Well, I don't. She probably
they
has
had
it as
one
a
they
solo
had
artist.
one nomination for the Odyssey, but it was the same year that Beyonce released Lemonade,
Oh,
and of course.
yeah. Uh, yeah. That blows my mind. I would have thought Florence and the Machine would have racked up a lot more nominations than that.
And maybe like one or two more for a song here and there, but they definitely have never won anything.
That's upsetting. You would
Yeah.
even think, if anything, you would have thought maybe like Dog Days Are Over back in the day would have won
Right.
something. Because that's obviously their most well known song by like the general public.
For sure. And Cosmic Love, people love Cosmic Love.
Yeah.
Not a
But
personal favorite, but
but yeah, so that really surprises me. I'm gonna have to do some more research on that and kind of see why.
yeah.
So let's dive into Doja Cat because I have a lot of thoughts.
Doja.
So obviously Doja Cat. I think Best New Artist is going to be between Doja Cat and Megan Thee Stallion. I kind of don't see anyone else winning that aside from one of those two.
Okay, but this goes back to being established. Isn't Meg a little too established for Best New Artist?
Yeah, I would think so, but I, I I don't know. I think she's eligible this year. I'm not sure. I'm hoping she is, but who knows? This could be a Cardi B, Post Malone, Camila Cabello situation.
True, true. Okay, so Doja.
So
She's pretty problematic too, isn't she? Like I listen to her music, but I don't really keep up with what goes on with her. But I did see she was making some headlines a little while back.
she's gotten into some hot water. I think for a lot of things she said, but I don't know if that will hinder her chances at nominations as much as the fact that she worked with Dr. Luke on Say So.
Oh, like Kesha's Dr. Luke?
Yeah, he's the one that produced that song.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so I like the song, but every time
He
I hear it, it kind of makes me sick to my stomach.
So how is dude even like this is a whole separate podcast, but how is dude even still working in the industry? God.
So when he produced Say So, he used a different name. I don't remember what the name was, but like not credited to Dr. Luke. It's credit as far as I know, it's credited to
His
a different
surname.
a different name. Uh so I mean, you got to make money somehow, I guess, and that's what he does. It's what he knows. But I hate that, like, Say So is the number one hit this year. So Dr. Luke, after everything that happened with Kesha, got another number one hit.
I mean, okay, but it's also like a trend in the industry. You know what I'm saying? We always know that there's going to be good guys and bad guys. And
Yeah,
unfortunately, it always feels like the bad guys win.
yeah,
But it's like you said, this is what he does for a living. He's got to be able to continue to make money somehow. I get it. And I feel like with a higher income like that, I might not manage my money as well. And then
yeah,
I would like be forced to work all the time. So I kind of could see. I mean, and you got to think that was a long legal process that him and Kesha just went through. That's a lot of money he
yeah.
spent to protect his name.
Unfortunately, in today's age, whether he was as guilty as like Kesha was saying or not, that's a whole other thing. Like, the don't even get me started on all that.
Right. It's a like I said, that's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, but now in the age of social media, it's basically guilty till proven innocent, and maybe
Right,
not
for
even then.
sure. I mean, like LA Reid had one person come after him and had to step down as head of Epic Records
Exactly.
and nothing else was ever really said about it. Like this lady kind of came out the blue, said whatever, and then nothing else was done. I've never been able to find out too much more
Yeah.
information
Yeah.
about it.
I had forgotten about that. That was a long time ago at this point.
Yeah, well, I love LA Reid and like
Mhm.
as a woman, I still would probably go work for him. So I could understand where, like, Dr. Luke, like you said, unfortunately, regardless of whatever happened with him and Kesha, he is a hit maker.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
people
For
know
sure.
that. He's like Max Martin, isn't that his name?
Yeah.
The
Max
sleep.
Martin. Yeah.
So, those two, like, they've been making hits for years, like years,
Yeah. They defined the 2010s pretty
Right,
much. Without
right.
without both of them, the whole music industry, who knows what it would have sounded like.
They defined the whole 2000s, honestly, as we know it.
Oh yeah, because I'm pretty
They
sure
worked
Max
with Britney
Martin.
Spears.
Yeah, Max Martin started back with Britney Spears, and I think he did the Backstreet Boys a
Yeah,
bunch.
for
And so,
sure.
yeah,
Like the pop culture that we know now that
yeah,
really gained traction in the late 90s and early 2000s. It came from those guys. So like I could see people that and especially didn't Doja from what I understand wasn't she like a YouTuber before she sang?
yeah. She was either a YouTuber or a TikTok star. Yeah, there was something, but she wasn't a serious. She was like a comedy act
Right,
almost.
like a parody person or
Yeah,
something.
and then I don't know when she kind of decided she was going to be a little more serious because obviously "Say So" is like a real song. Like it's not a comedy song. Yeah,
Dude, it's and she has one, it's called Like That with, Gucci Man, I believe. I love that song.
yeah, that's a fantastic song. And going back to how we were talking about BB Rexa earlier, she's on that song "Baby I'm Jealous" right now. With
Yeah.
her, that's one of my favorite songs out right now. It's incredible. Back to what I was saying with Doja Cat. I did not include "Say So" on any of my predictions because
But realistically, it probably will get a record and song of the year
yeah, I agree.
nomination.
If it doesn't get both, it'll at least get one. If it's not in there, it'll probably be in the pop categories. But I
Yeah, for
didn't include
sure.
it on anything because I don't know if the Academy will nominate it solely because they don't want to give Dr. Luke any recognition.
Oh, come on. Has the Academy said that?
They have not, so that's just a
Okay.
personal. that that's just a personal thing where I'm just like, I don't know where that's gonna.
I hate to be that person, but I feel like the people in the Academy are a bunch of dinosaurs and they need to be replaced.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree. They should let me run it. We should do it.
For sure. We volunteer as tribute over here.
We will. We can
We'll
do
make
it.
these stressful decisions.
Exactly. We almost have our music business degree. We know exactly what to do.
We know everything.
We know everything. Shout out Full Sail University.
100.
So I guess that's kind of all I really want to talk about. We didn't touch on album of the year too much. Because
Dua,
that's a
Dua, Dua.
yeah, I would not be mad if Dua won it.
I just feel like she has this Studio 2054 event coming up, and everything has just been on point. Her visuals for this album, her release, even though it was in the middle of the pandemic, like everything has been on point. And
yeah.
I mean, she's still getting streams, she's still getting plays, she's still getting sales, So I feel like the album's done well, and I feel like she really deserves it. I love Do It.
And
I'm here.
right, I believe right now, if they haven't already, they're doing it right now. Like the Academy is doing their final votes and putting the final nominations list together because it comes out next Tuesday. And right now she has Levitating out, which is growing really
Oh,
quickly.
dude, have you listened to any of the remixes?
Oh yeah, the whole remix album I listened to, and
Yeah.
then but then like just because she's Levitating is the single right now. She's on it with DaBaby. It's growing really quickly on the Hot 100 and on pop radio.
Oh, dude, it's gaining so much popularity.
I know it's so good. Everyone loves it, and I think that's really good timing by her team. I'm sure that was purposeful because they knew that would be a big hit, especially once they got DaBaby on there.
And she's already had Don't Start Now, Physical,
Break My
several
Heart.
others, yeah.
Yeah.
So like it's a good album. And to me, it's just like this album for Dua is almost like art pop for Lady Gaga in a sense. Like it's pushing boundaries, it's bringing back a very 80s synthy sound. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, and
That's a really good comparison.
the visuals really just they kind of make the album for me. Like they have just been on point,
Yeah,
and I don't
100%.
know if she's like in charge, but if she is, go ahead, sister.
Knowing the kind of artist Dua Lipa is, I would guess if she's not in charge, she has a really big say. Because I think, like kind of what I was saying about Harry Styles earlier, she strikes me as someone else who has a really strong artistic vision.
I mean, and in this industry, you have to be able to succeed and to be able to represent who you are.
Yeah. And so, like my top two, I think album of the year is either going to go to Dua Lipa or Taylor Swift. I don't really see how it can go to anybody else.
Right. I mean, I'm looking at your predictions list right now, and we've got Harry Styles, we've got Fiona Apple, Post Malone, Roddy Rich, and the Chicks, and The Weeknd. Like, but we've already discussed The Weeknd, and I just don't feel like his album is. I don't feel like it carries as much merit and weight as some of these others.
Yeah, I agree. It's not. I think out of out of his last three albums, it's definitely the weakest.
If I had to pick a top two, definitely Duo with Future Nostalgia. And I mean, Taylor is like such an obvious contender. You know what I'm saying? She really is. But just if we could take her out of the picture, like my top two would be Post Malone and Dua Lipa. Like I love Hollywood's Bleeding. That album pushes a lot of genre norms too. So
I would love for Post Malone to win something. He's only been around. He's really only been relevant for maybe 3 years, like that. He's really been popular, and
right.
he hasn't. I feel like he's always one of those artists that's always nominated but never wins.
For sure. I agree.
And even if he isn't to win anything in the general field, I feel like they might give him something like the pop field, or I even like his song "Take What You Want" with Ozzy and Travis Scott. If that's nominated for something, that could be in the rock categories. They could. I want them to give him something because he's way too good of an artist and way too well liked to just kind of be looked over all the time.
Right, for sure. I mean, like he's very popular. Like Post Malone is a household name. People know Posty. Like I don't understand.
Yeah, like, and he's been nominated for Record of the Year for the past 2 years with Rockstar and Sunflower, but he hasn't won anything.
Right. And Rockstar, that was like an anthem
Yeah,
the year that it came out. So I don't know.
yeah, and like Hollywood's Bleeding, it has so many hits. It has Circles, it has Wow, Goodbyes, Take What You Want. Like they're Sunflower even from last year.
Right.
They're all on that album, and look like even compared to Future Nostalgia and Fine Line, who those albums that had a lot of really big hits. If you're going by probably the most well known album, it's probably Hollywood's Bleeding because it had so many big hits and it was just so popular and so well received.
Yep.
I feel like he just gets looked over a lot, and I'm not really sure why.
I think it's because like his general sound and aesthetic just don't go together
Yeah,
really. And like people don't know how to take him. You know, but he's done several like interviews and stuff speaking like, yo man, I'm not really in one genre. I'm just here to kind of make music that I want to make and I appreciate people supporting me.
yeah.
So,
So like I look at a lot of critic lists and where have you ever been on, there's a site called Gold Derby, which is basically you can do award show predictions. There's a lot of uh, like discussion threads and stuff. So I look at that stuff a lot, and a lot of almost the general consensus is that Taylor Swift is gonna win again. And I know you're not like the biggest Taylor fan, but
but
so say, but what's crazy is to say Taylor wins because a lot of people say Folklore is her the best album she's ever done. I
I
have listened to
agree.
every single one of her albums. I've been a huge fan for like 15 years. It's for me, it's the best work she's done. And but if she was to win this award, she would be the first woman to win it 3 times. And I don't. I'm sure there's been other artists that have won it 3 times, but I can't. Like maybe like Stevie Wonder, I think maybe has won it 3 times. Maybe Lionel Richie, like someone like that. Maybe, probably the Beatles. Like that would be putting her in some really elite competition. And it's crazy that she, not just coming from me, but like from like the general consensus online, really seems like she's the favorite to win.
She is. Anytime she's nominated, she's a favorite to
Yeah,
win. And look, I it's not that I feel like for a while Taylor strayed from who she really was as a person. Like these her past 3 albums, you know, like I really truly do support. Like I enjoy them, I listen to them, but and I agree with the general consensus that Folklore is her best work to date. I feel like this is the most true to herself she's been in 15 years.
agreed. And I feel like with Reputation and Lover, I feel like she, like how you said, she really kind of strayed away from who she was and what people wanted from her. And it just wasn't like I love the album Reputation, but it's not, to me, that's not a Taylor Swift album. That is like a Taylor Swift alter ego album. Like it's not her.
Right, like the visuals with her climbing on everybody for Look What You
Yeah.
Made Me Do. Like that's very fitting because that's what it feels like.
And then I think her album Lover that came out last year is her weakest album. Like it just
Now, see, I actually like Lover is honestly one of my favorites. Like but I'm
really,
usually the complete polar opposite from everyone else, so that makes sense.
yeah. Well, like so, but I mean, there's a like the song itself, Lover, and You Need to Calm Down, are like there are some really good songs on it, but I feel like a lot of times when she releases an album, I will go back to it and I'll listen to it nonstop on repeat for forever because I love her so much. And I just didn't do that with Lover. It just didn't stick with me.
Right. Well, I just I don't know. I enjoyed the experience of the album from like start to finish. So I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
it was kind of happy for Taylor Swift, and I think maybe that's why I liked it so much.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's still a Taylor Swift album, so I still love it and stuff, but it just wasn't it for me totally. But Folklore, she returns to her roots. She does what she's good at. My favorite all-time Taylor Swift song is the song "Safe and Sound" that she did in 2013 with the Civil Wars. I don't
Hmm.
know if you know that song. And
Yeah.
Folklore, it sounds like it would fit onto Folklore.
Oh, for
And,
sure. It's
and
a perfect fit with that.
yeah, and so I makes me like it even more. And then, fun fact on top of all of it, obviously, Folklore was a surprise release. Like she announced it like a few hours before, like the
Yeah,
day
and then
before,
boom.
and the day it was released, July 24th. That's my birthday.
Aw.
So it was like it was released
Happy
specifically
birthday
just
to
for me.
you.
Exactly. Like, and not only was it like on my birthday, but it's my favorite album. Like I literally just like it was what I've wanted from her for years and years that I knew she was capable of that she just wasn't doing. And I just sat and cried the whole time I listened to it. It was so good.
So, I mean, also kind of another podcast topic for a different time, but do we think that Taylor spent all of those years not doing what was true to her because of her contracts with Big Machine?
Oh, that'd be a really good and that's so relevant. We might have to do that for like the next episode because we could get into a lot of the stuff with her and what's happened with her and Big Machine and Scooter Braun, what's happening right now with her masters being sold again without her knowledge. Ooh, and how just and then we could get into just kind of how the industry works in general.
Yeah.
Mm, that'd be fun. I think we've touched on just about everything. I mean,
Right. Is there collaborations
like a collaborations category.
category? Yeah.
Yeah, there is a best pop duo group performance category.
And that's it?
Yeah, for pop, I think a lot of there's not an overall like one for a catch-all for all categories. But I think a lot of there's a pop one, there's a country one. I think
There's a hip hop and rap one, I feel like. Maybe. I
I'm
don't know.
I'm trying to think. No, I think there used to be one for rap. There used to be it was rap song collaboration, and then they changed it to rap song, so it didn't have to be a collaboration. But now they changed the whole name of the category to best melodic rap performance. It used to be, and it's just kind of evolved over the years.
Bum, bum, bum.
I think this is probably good. How long have we been talking? An
Oh
hour.
gosh, like a while.
Yep. So this is going to be broken up into a couple of parts for sure.
That'll be good.
We definitely hit our 12-minute mark.
For sure.
But all right, well, I guess I should have wrote some sort of closing. I don't know. Well,
Um,
thank you for listening. We have been Jukebox Junkies, which I'm going to mess that up so much because it's such a tongue twister.
Jukebox Junkies.
Jukebox Junkies. Uh, I'm Dylan, and this
I'm
is
Chelsey.
Chelsey. And I don't how this is not a good ending. What'd be a better
Let's
ending?
see. I don't know. Thanks for listening to Jukebox.
We didn't think that one through, did we?
Okay. Thanks for listening to Jukebox Junkies. I'm Chelsea, and I've been talking with Dylan. Something along those lines.
Thank you. Check us out on Facebook at Greenwave Entertainment, and you can check out our portfolio sites, which we will leave in the descriptions below. And yeah, until next time, thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.